Early adopter. Yes, I was. Actually, I first tried Gravity Sketch on the Oculus Rift, or maybe it was on the iPad, actually. But it's been an amazing thing from there. So, do I want to use a mirror or not? Last night in Los Angeles, I saw a really cool presentation, meetup about Gravity Sketch, and we all discussed all of the possibilities there. I was reminded of all the amazing possibilities of this program, and it just keeps getting more interesting over time. Early on, you could only sketch. You couldn't. Well, yeah, it was simple at first. It was just sketching out designs, but now really they have made a full 3D editing thing that why would I talk about it and not start using it? Here is so a cube, and I'll set it to be a subdivision object. Pick a color. Draw out my cubes. Here they are. I've still got it on mirror mode, so they will do their thing and sort of interact here. But now that I've got this, I can go into this mode, and this wasn't here at the very beginning, but it is a totally amazing addition. And then I can start box modeling with subdivision surfaces. And this could be perhaps the best example of doing this inside virtual reality, because you would have to use a PC modeling app or something like that to do this in earlier eras. But now it is so incredibly intuitive just to start making out these shapes, making so that is already kind of interesting. Do I have a robot taking shape? I usually make robots, don't I? So turn on the subdivision. Wow, we've got a bit unusual things going on there. Maybe I need to clean that up or not. Is it interesting? Turn up the sub D level. Or I could do it low poly. I've always found low poly to be very interesting to look at. Maybe because I come from that early era of computers. Originally, I was a lucky young person at a time when a lot of people didn't have computers. And we would dream of this sort of power for um, our home computers, but that wasn't possible. What is that anyway? It could be a chest, or it could be a face or something. Get some more primitive objects. Did I turn off the mirror mode? No, it's still here. The clock is an interesting way to do things there, to go back in time or forward. There we go. All of these different applications. It's hard to remember sometimes all of the different control combinations we're supposed to remember to use the different ones, but um, Gravity Sketch is definitely one of those that I want to and I should remember. they they link together. I see that was that tearing is because maybe the linkage is too awkward there or something. But anyway, you can start to mold all kinds of unusual things. All of a sudden, this is starting to look like a fish, isn't it? Fish. Need to make my selection area larger. Then I can also use these things. Merge, separate, crease. So I can delete, oops, I deleted off part of the outside of that and it opened it. But that accident could be good because there's a mouth. How funny. Like a fish. What is happening here? Turn off the subdivisions. Delete it. This super ellipsoid. Why aren't we getting a super ellipsoid, I wonder? I'll use some other tools here. Weird lines with geometry going through itself. That's not good practice in modeling. Even if it looks interesting, it's not good to do it that way. Confuses the system. Sort of like a bowl, but now I have two of them, as I hoped, for building something. Connect them to the side. I was going to turn off the stage floor, round, square, gone. World axis, still vertical lock. Then use some surfaces too, why not? Oh, right. You got to do it this way. Like a sheet of fabric. That good? Bad? Back. Forward. It's a bit complicated to bend it, but then we can do this type of thing after bending it. Could do these other things. Round it. Why is that thing over there? Well, move it around. Can we connect it? Different modes. Good enough. Guess I won't use that. Ah, yes. Volumetric. This was something that I think they added before everything had the subdivision services, but it is a convenient way to sort of this appears in a lot of different 3D VR art programs. But the difference is that in Gravity Sketch, you get an amazing level of control after you set up your volumetrics. And on a lot of these other applications, you're sort of stuck with the volumetric that you have assembled. But here, see, I can go into this mode again, move around my, are these still vertices? If they're inside this sort of mode, I guess. So, turn on low poly. We want to go back to the 80s and 90s. Simplify points, reset thickness. All right. Sort of has cactus leaves for arms, doesn't it? Whatever it is. All right, let's see. Stroke surface. Go back. Use lines. Sometimes it is hard to control the sort of twist. That's more correct. It's plausible for robots. Fingers. So there's a thumb and go back. Of course, really the thumb. Shrink. The thumb should be the largest. That's interesting. To sort of have it go through the hand like that. Or through the forearm shield or whatever that is. So then it only has 3 fingers. But that is what it looks like it needs to have. And maybe make some connections here. Cover over that unfortunate geometry. like a neck, and then we can see there's going to be a head or something here. Or interesting. What about, just came up with a very interesting and bizarre idea. What if the robot has everything, including these weird fish, bird shoulder pads, and yet it doesn't have a head. It has this sort of hexagonal ring here that is a void instead of there being a head. Here's an example. It's like Gravity Sketch is being used for concept art on movies and stuff, or for new real products. But that's interesting. Of course, if you only build it from one angle, you'll easily forget to make it look good from any other angle. So it is important for you and I, using VR to design things, that we look all around. We look all around to see. No, I don't want to link. Actually, that was too good of a link not to use. Just so fascinating to make all of the pieces interlock. So it's sort of a future, not steampunk. I forget which punk, maybe Solarpunk or something else. Another revolve feature maybe for the legs. Green. There's an unusual shape. It looks like, who knows what it looks like. But, all right, now raise up and make larger. Connect here. I guess we will have a lower body segment there. And these will be the legs, sort of suggesting a knee connection down here. It's time to leave the capsule if you dare. Capsule. Or put it on the front. Yeah. It's like a knee joint guard. Something's happening there. And then all right. And then use the volumetric once again. But blue. Draw this out. Then go down here. Got this purple color for feet. That's weird. It's like it's wearing shoes. Move the points. Reform them. Yes, Gravity Sketch is being used for shoe design, cars, vehicles, all kinds of things. Here's a robot. Somehow I often end up doing robots, don't I? This time, yes, just this part. And just yeah, right. We're adding some more volumetric points here. Put that there. Maybe some round metallic revolve things to be like gears or something. Not quite right. Oh yes, all of these different modes. Okay, we'll do six-sided. Made another vase. It's a lot of vases. Too good to throw away, but it doesn't really belong with this robot. Unless these are carrying things. Can I go back in here and fix the bottom? Yes. There we go. Now it can carry water or whatever it's bringing, maybe agricultural supplies for a farm on another planet. Then a center part here, but we're going to connect with something else. Not the whole robot is round, so eight-sided figure, would that be good? Doesn't look quite right, does it? It's almost like clothing, like a waistcoat or something. Do robots need clothing? The superhumanoid ones, I guess, will need clothing, but for a lot of other ones, they just sort of go around and do their thing. That's kind of interesting. Maybe it isn't clothing, maybe it's some other sort of thing. Wings? It's sort of interesting that it's just um, tubes or whatever. Speaking of tubes, doesn't really add anything. That looks like it more belongs like a connection. Don't want to distract from that weird idea of it just being an empty space. Oh yes, if I'm going to do something like that, need to make it just points. No, a little too big. That's complete. All right. And then go line little antenna. No. There we go. That's an interesting being. But if I've done that, I almost have to go out a little bit more, like, no, like I'm adding more outward motion to it. That add anything. See, there's an example of impractical design elements because they seem to look cool. They don't really do anything. Does that improve it? Seems like a good enough sketch for now.